Hello all, Project Wargaming here, continuing to do some work on my 6mm World War II. So I am starting to finish up some of the tanks here, or at least continue working on them. So I've gotten the base coat on all of these guys, the camo and the base dunkel gelb. And so now I'm going to go in and start to work on the tracks and some of the other small little highlights. So obviously these guys are just a little bit bright for what they are. And so what I do is kind of just take this little piece of sponge and get just a little bit of darker stuff on it and just come around and sponge kind of the corners just to, I find that it makes it look like it's gotten some wear and tear on it, and then plus it just seems to pull the brightness down just a bit. Obviously I'll go back in later and do a dull coat over top of everything. But the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do some black, so black around the tires here, and then the back of this, and then if I remember, the little machine gun here. So all I do is just simply come in and just kind of do a quick circle around the tires. The great thing about the tracks and stuff at this scale is I'm going to cover a lot of it up with mud and other pigments just to make it look like it's been trashed. This side has gotten a lot of glue on it, so it's not very good to paint or show. And then I'm just going to do the machine gun here on the top. So the texture or the sponge, I just used this German camo dark brown or black brown, and then the black was obviously just straight Model Air. And then I'm going to do the tracks in this sea gray, which I think is just a little bit bright, but I'm going to put this pigment and this mud on it as well, which will darken it down a bit. So it looks pretty bright going on, but it does get lightened up a bit, or darkened down a bit as you go. So first thing I do is I just come in and get the back sides of the tracks, and then I'll come in and just drag along the edge here. If you do it right, your brush just kind of goes right in those, and then you can come up underneath and just hit that. So same thing, just a quick little brush through and then up underneath. Obviously when I do this, I do like 9 or 10 at a time, maybe even more if I got more. Go from there. So then the next thing is just I use some of this pigment. It's kind of a rusty pigment. Just use an old brush. Obviously you want to wait a little bit longer for the paint to dry in between if you're doing lots of it, but just kind of come in, put that over the tracks, and that, make sure you hit the edges, the back and the front. It's definitely where kind of the most gray sticks out. I guess on this one it has a little bit of track in the front here too, so go back in and hit that track. I think that's it. So again, and then I take some of this pigment and I just kind of scatter it about all over the tank. Just hit some spots here and there. Again, just to kind of pull it down a bit. Blow off the excess. And then I'm going to use this mud mixture that I made. So I made this mud mixture with this Liquitex super or gloss super heavy gel. It's really thick stuff. It's gloss, so it looks muddy when it goes on. And then all I've done is I've mixed in a bunch of really fine sawdust into it, along with some dark brown paint. So that's how I made this mixture. Pretty standard stuff. Come in and hit the edges, and then you can kind of go up into the tracks a bit. Come around the front. Hit some of the front edges here. Most of the games I'm going to play are going to be in Normandy or over in Russia, so a healthy amount of mud is not going to be a bad thing. Then the back side here. Kind of hit the backs, come back in and dapple the tracks a little bit more. And that's the next phase. So about the only thing else that I plan to do with this guy is I might put a decal on here for the numbers. But I don't know if I'm going to do that. I think it's pretty good from right here, and I might just leave it as is because I just really hate putting decals on stuff. But anyways, that's how I do my the bases for my Tigers and my other tanks, I guess. So I got a bunch more to do, so I hope that helps you all. Talk to you later. Bye.